again, and welcome back to A Gifted Amateur Recipes. Today we're going to make the filling for a chestnut bourguignon pie. So the version I'm going to make today is vegetarian, but if you look on the website and get all the list of ingredients, you'll find that it can be made vegan quite easily. In fact, the pastry I'll be using towards the end of the pie making is vegan. So just to run through the ingredients. First of all, what I've got are some chestnuts. Now I've used vacuum packed, so they're ready to cook, which is great. Otherwise you have to soak them for a long time, so try and get those if you can. I've got some bay leaves, dried rosemary, some red wine, some vegetable stock, 25 grams of butter. I'm going to be using later some shallots, I've got 8. Over here, which you might just be able to see, we've got some chestnut mushrooms and some button mushrooms. Later we'll be using Dijon mustard, tamari soy sauce, some freshly ground black pepper, and we've got some parsley. I've used a pack, 30 gram pack, that's finely chopped. And first things first, the chestnuts get cooked with the herbs, and that takes some 50 to 60 minutes, so I'm not going to bore you with that whole 50 to 60 minutes worth of cooking. So what I've done is I've got the chestnuts in the pan with the bay leaves and the rosemary. I'm going to add the finely chopped parsley and some of the red wine and the stock, and then that's going to cook for around 50 minutes. So when that's done, I'll come back to you and we'll get on with the next stage. Okay, so the chestnuts are cooked. They're nice and softened. They've had about 55 minutes. I've drained them, taken the bay leaves out and preserved the cooking liquor, because we're going to need that and all those lovely flavours. In the pan, the large frying pan, I've melted some butter and I've added the shallots, which I prepared while the chestnuts were cooking. Turn that down a little now. And what I want is for these shallots to begin to brown just slightly, and you can see that's starting to happen. Turn them over, so that they're browning evenly. Because some of those chestnut mushrooms are quite large, I've quartered those and have some of the larger button mushrooms. I'm going to add those to the pan. And cook for 4 to 5 minutes until they are softening a little bit. I'll turn the heat down just slightly. It's important to keep stirring this because the mushrooms tend to soak up all of the juice that was in the pan. So once they're all coated nicely in butter, there isn't much liquid in there at the moment. Okay, so we're at about the 5-minute mark now, and they're softening nicely. So we're going to add in those cooked chestnuts. And remember, we'll take those bay leaves out. I mean, you can always take them out later if you forget. We're going to add the remainder of the red wine. And the cooking liquor. Let's get rid of some of this. Okay. Now what we want to do is bring that to the boil, just briefly. And once that gets to the boil, we're going to turn it down to a simmer, and we're going to leave that to cook for around 20 to 30 minutes so that that liquor reduces. And we don't I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. Get all of that lovely taste in there. And it's 3 tablespoons of tamari soy. So this takes its own time to come out of the bottle. So as you know, soy, tamari soy, is quite salty. So I'm not really thinking to add any salt to this. But what I will put in is some black pepper. Mix that thoroughly so that the Dijon mustard goes down into that sauce and doesn't just stick to any of those vegetables. And leave that to cook for another 5 minutes. Right, this is ready. I'm going to taste the liquor just to see that the seasoning's fine. Oh my goodness, that is delicious. Oh, sorry, double dipping. Not allowed. Because of the soy, that doesn't need any salt at all. It doesn't need any more pepper. So put that away. What I'm going to do now is just leave that. And actually, I'm going to let it cool right down and then freeze it for a couple of days. And the only reason for that is I like the flavours to come together a bit more. Although, trust me, that tastes amazing. It's just that we're not ready to eat it quite yet. So we had all these ingredients to use. Some lovely mushrooms and the chestnuts and the shallots in the oven, in the store cupboard rather. So I'm going to leave that to cool right down but I will come back and show you this being made into the finished pie. And trust me, it is amazing. So I'm going to be using some pre-prepared puff pastry in a sheet to make life easier. So all that I have to do is roll this out to the size of my dish. So I've just heated through the mixture because it's been defrosted, so it's cold, and all that has to cook really is the pastry topping, because obviously the mixture is pre-cooked. So I warm that through, the oven is heating up, and I just place the sheet of puff pastry across the top. And all that's left to do is just tuck the pastry in. It will shrink a little bit in cooking, but that's okay. And then I will seal the edge a little, trim off the excess, and this pie will be ready to go into the oven. And your pie is ready to eat. The great thing about this recipe is that when you're meal planning, you can have this mixture made in advance. You can make 2 or 3 portions of it into the freezer along with the pastry, and then in the morning just take it out, ready for you to bake the pie when you get home from work. Really simple, and 30 minutes later it's ready and it's delicious. Enjoy.